By far, the modern-day progressive left's greatest strength is its propensity and ability to seize territory before its opposition even knows that it is being contested. This is, of course, a point that fits very neatly into one of my favorite topics about gatekeeping, and more recently as well, the ability and the desire and drive to claim things, to seize ownership of games, of media properties, etc., etc. Something that the left has always been doing, even in the most hostile of opposition. I was reminded of this or two things this week. Firstly, the Lords of the Fallen subreddit being in essence shanghaied, kicking out all of the game's developers from the moderation team, and a talk we had on the ArchCast this last week of a personal experience with this, because this can happen at any level, any size, any plane, anything from a forum, a subreddit, a game, a cultural movement, or even something as small as a personal connection. As on the ArchCast, I told a story about how I was looking around for other people, and I found a 40k YouTuber and thought, okay, this is great, let's watch this person a little bit. And I got in contact with them later on, and we were simply just having a conversation, like, okay, if you want to do YouTube, you know, these are things you can look out for, here are some tips and tricks, this is how tags works, etc., until I received a strange message, asking me if I could come to the streams anonymous with a new account. Okay. This is odd. What does this mean? Well, apparently the individual's moderators had argued that my presence as Arch was a disruptive and exclusionary one. They were trying to create a space that was for everyone, you see. And so, to create a space that is for everyone, you must exclude someone. Now, this is of course the kind of logic that doesn't survive about 5 seconds of thinking, but the left has, through an absolute coup of culture, managed to redefine the word inclusivity to mean me and mine, and not yours. They have created a political term out of it that most uneducated individuals will simply view uncritically as a positive thing. Of course, including everyone is a good thing, and if including everyone means we must exclude someone, well, I shan't think too closely about that and simply do it. It's rather brilliant, frankly. Now, this is of course that on a whole other level, where you have a Reddit forum, a fairly sizable one, 51,000 people, with only 49 people online right now, granted, with being in top 3% of Reddits. That's pretty sizable, especially for a game that had a very lackluster reception and release. Lords of the Fallen was not a very popular game upon its initial launch. It flopped. It didn't meet player expectations, it wasn't what people were expecting, it didn't play very well, it was buggy, all of these countless problems were apparent in the game. And to try and fix this, its CEO, Marek Tymiński here, was putting up various polls and asking people, okay, I want this game to be a success, please work with me to make it a success. Awesome, fantastic, that kind of initiative should be lauded, but he put up a poll that is the reason why the CEO of CI Games, Marek Tymiński, is actively supporting and promoting fascist ideology. Wow. What kind of a poll was this? This guy must have been something pretty damn spicy, right? Well, Marek put up a poll asking if in-game you would rather have the choice between body type A and B, or male and female. How remarkably fascist indeed, as the internet voted overwhelmingly for male and female, and then subsequently rewarded the game for doing so. It currently has a higher concurrent player count than, I mean, look at this. 400 people, 500 people, 400 people, to 11,647. I've often pointed out how the left cannot mobilize anything. How when the left wins at something, you can't even see the result in the things they champion. Whereas when the right wins something, look at this. This sends an absolutely and utterly unmistakable message to the game's developer that we are their friends, that they should give us the stuff we want because we're actually the players. This communicates that point without so much as a shadow or a hint of doubt whatsoever. I can confidently say that we have claimed Lords of the Fallen. It is ours now. But the left, of course, will use that institutional power, which they create, largely, often, to try and regain it. As again, no matter how hostile the ground, no matter how obvious it is that they are in the minority, the left does not stop seizing castles. They simply don't. They will always try. And here they're busting out the big guns. Fascist ideology. My God, anyone who is uneducated on this matter will see this and freak. There's even been people asking, like, what the hell is going on here? Is this true? And these posts have, of course, largely been locked and removed when they have been sufficiently critical, because it is control of the narrative. Now, there have been efforts to try and shift people over to the other forum controlled by the game's creators, but as you can see here, comparatively, it's tiny. It's very smaller, 4.7 thousand members, 11% of Reddit. This is what happens when you take the power at the grassroots. Now, bear in mind, if these polls had never been created, if this enormous boost in player count hadn't happened, these would be the people in charge of the narrative. These would be the people speaking to the developers, arguing with them, giving them suggestions, explaining to them what to do, and holding, in essence, the reins. They are the ones with the political and societal influence here to say, no, you gotta understand, it's okay, people will come back, you just gotta go do this and this and this. Much like The Acolyte was Disney's last all-in attempt at progressivism and inclusion, for example. Now, this is also a wonderful representation of the benefit of creating these sub-communities, something that the right has been largely unable to do because it usually just isn't willing to play the game in the same way as the left does. When the left creates a fan community, they create it like this, where they remove sources of information they don't like, they advantage the source of information they do like, and they will even go so far as to do something ridiculous like removing the creators of the game they claim to love from the moderator positions of the game's own subreddit. Because to them, it is far more about politics than the game. Again, the definition of an activist is always, in essence, somebody who puts their ideology, their activism, above their enjoyment and their fandom. This is that. That is how you create somebody who can genuinely believe that body type AB is good and male and female is fascist. And this too, incidentally, is one of the pettiest and dumbest things ever in political discourse. The only reason why this is a thing is because body type A and B is a clear signal to the left saying, we are on your side. We do not recognize the social construct that is gender. Despite still having male and female in the game, body type B still feels the urge to cover up her chest. It still has all the trappings, all the realities of gender, but it embraces the political terminology to say, we are your thing. You have claimed us. It is an act of subservience and submission. And therefore, of course, the opposition simply started viewing the opposite as a sign of a nod towards them. Okay, if that is how the left views it, we will simply adopt the opposite as our signifier. And when we see it, unlike the left, we have the ability to reward. This is what I've been talking about in the claiming videos, for example. Cancelling a video game is the stick, and it should be wielded with great and furious force wherever applicable, and when you can get away with it, mind you, and the carrot should then be used afterwards. When somebody comes to you and say, okay, enough beatings, what do I need to do to get back in your good graces? Well, this is a conquest. This is an advantage for us. This is a piece of media that is now ours. This is a games development studio that in all due likelihood is now ours. This is absolutely beneficial. If it wasn't, well, the left wouldn't be doing it with such enormous gusto, now would it? But, anyways, seizure of terrain can happen on any level. It can be something as small as being a part of a game hobby group and going, no, I actually think female custodians are idiotic, they're stupid, they break the law, they don't function, and you're an idiot if you think they don't. And it can be all the way up till being the moderator of these groups going, no, this is actually a politic-free zone, your leftist nonsense will be banned from here as well. And all the way up till, well, stuff like this, where you see genuine movements in the marketplace of literally 10,000 plus people responding to actually being listened to. There's a reason why Sonic now has 3 successful movies, whereas the original design would have been very, very hard-pressed indeed to even get one. Take that into consideration, some food for thought there. Until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.